Hello and welcome into the WNK page. I am George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here for Weather Now, Kentucky. We are live on both YouTube and Facebook this morning, so if I am responding to a comment that you don't see, it's likely on the other site. I need to refresh my YouTube. I don't know why it's not showing me the comments. It's doing that every time. Of course, we're going to give it a solid minute before we start diving into the new details of what to expect. So over that minute, if you wouldn't mind, tap into the share button at the bottom portion of your screen there. Get this video out on your news feed just like every other time. Some of your friends and family can view the update as well. We do have quite a bit of shifting that occurred overnight that we want to talk about with you guys. Dylan on YouTube says good morning. Good morning to you as well. I also want to warn you that I am feeling a bit sick this morning. So we're going to try to power through this video and get all the information out to you. I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions. I'll get to those more toward the end of the video. Let's get through all of the data and information on what to expect. So again, if you wouldn't mind tapping the share button at the bottom portion of your screen there and get this video out on your news feed so your friends and family can view it as well, because I know we didn't plan a live video for this morning, so a lot of people might not know that we're live. So help us by sharing the video and we'll get you guys that information. Let's give it just a few more seconds to allow everyone to kind of go ahead and funnel on in here on this very, very cold morning. Cindy and Patricia say good morning on YouTube. Hello to you as well. Monica on Facebook, good morning. Thank you for doing another live. That's what we're here for. I've had a lot of coffee this morning, but I woke up, and it could just be because the Arctic air moved in last night. Every time really cold or dry air moves in, I wake up very, very dry. I'm in a bit more of a relaxed outfit today. It's been a long last 3 or 4 days. Really longer than that, dating back to earlier last week to start covering that system. It's been a long week, a long 7 or 8 days straight. Try some hot tea. I'll probably do that here after the video. Amanda, thank you for sharing the video. I appreciate your help with that. Thank you guys so much for helping us share the video out. Again, not a lot of people know that we're live right now because we didn't really plan one. So if you could help us by sharing the video, that would be great. Get this message out to many folks. Again, some changes did occur overnight, and we alluded to that last night as well. I said multiple times, I do expect some shifting to occur. For some folks, that means a little bit more snow. For some folks, that means a little bit less snow. So we'll break that down on what to expect. What's up, doggy? Ollie wants to say hi to everybody. I don't know if you guys can see him or not. No, he's all the way over there. He's all the way over there. So again, I still see the numbers go up. So we're gonna give it a few more seconds before we dive into everything. Laquina, good morning on Facebook. Sherry Flower Child, good morning to you as well. Lynn, good morning to you. Again, Amanda, thank you for sharing the video. Nancy, Sharon, Rebecca, everyone else, thank you guys for all your help with sharing the live stream out. Let me go ahead and shut this door because this dog wanted to open everything. Well, I can't even find the what I'm looking for there. All right. Go, bud. Thank you. All right, there we go. I had to shut the door. The dog decided he wanted to come in here and try to join us. I don't want him barking in the middle of everything. So again, I think we're good to get rolling now. So if you are just now tuning in, I am George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here for WNK. We are live on both YouTube and Facebook this morning to cover the changes that did occur overnight during model data runs. Again, one more time, if you wouldn't mind sharing the video, I would appreciate that because this video, we didn't really plan it, so I don't think a lot of people know about it. So if you would help us by tapping the share button at the bottom portion of your screen over there on Facebook, put it on your news feed so your friends and family can view it as well. Ashley, thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate that. Do I feel the warning may raise north? We'll cover that. So let's go ahead and start diving into what changed overnight. So if I actually roll this back to last night's model run, I just want to show you just the general changes overall here. Again, I am feeling quite a bit under the weather this morning, so please bear with me with my voice. I'm actually giving it pretty much all the power that I have right now. So as I roll this through, this is last night's model data. I just want to show you the differences. So this is around 7 to 8 p.m. We'll see a big snow band extends all the way up towards southern Indiana. Starts to dry slide off a little bit on the northwest or northeastern side of the band. Still continues snowing for quite some time, almost 14 hours of continuous snowfall on this model run from last night. And then a secondary band showing up on the back side of the event. What I want to show you that's changed is the overall precip shield with this. It hasn't really shifted too much, but models are indicating that the moisture might cut off a little bit quicker than what they indicated last night. Now, I will caution you by also telling you Only 1 to 2 models really changed from last night to tonight. And the other 2 models pretty much stayed relatively the same. However, all models are good at some things. All models are bad at other things. I think the model that stayed the same, that one is a little bit more biased toward adding a bit more moisture than what would typically come. And that model is the North American, or AKA NAM model. This HRRR model does have a bit of a tendency to cut off moisture a bit too fast. The rapid refresh model, which is another model that we look at, it's a high resolution model. It does great with temperature boundaries, but it doesn't handle moisture levels well at all. So quite frankly, if you're asking me, because I'm going to show you our snowfall map as well. We do have the snowfall map ready for you guys. So just hang on with me throughout the information and I'll show you that, that snowfall map. But if you're asking me before I even show you that, can this change even beyond what the forecast we have created now? And the answer is absolutely. The truth is, we really won't know how so there's levels to the atmosphere, right? We really won't know how the 500 millibar level, which is several thousand feet above our head, we really won't know exactly how that is shaping up until the event starts. And that is super crucial, because if that gets going too fast, like let's say it's 90 to over 100 mile per hour up there, wind-wise, right? It will rip apart the moisture profiles and allow dry air to take over. If it's a little bit slower, the vice versa will happen. A little bit more moisture will be able to kick in. And on top of that, you can get these little pockets of what we call deformation bands to set up. Basically, the way the storm is pivoting, it can allow little pockets on the inside of that to be able to increase snowfall. So even though we have a snowfall map ready for you to look at here in a few moments, I do want to caution you by also telling you it can change even beyond this, because we really won't know. No one will really know exactly how the winds will perform above our heads until it gets going. So I'm actually going to zoom this into the local view here, and so you can kind of see the nameplates on the counties and cities. And just show you kind of overall. So Sunday, well, actually today, I'm losing track of days now at this point. I've spent too long back here. They're pretty clear up until about 4 to 5 p.m., and that's where things start to get going, especially by sunset. So if you're asking me what times you should be off the roads by, it is absolutely 7 p.m. Eastern time at the absolute latest, depending upon where you're at. If you're up in Florence or somewhere in northeastern Kentucky, you have a little bit more time to work with. If you're somewhere near Paducah or Murray, down in southwestern Kentucky, you should probably be off the roads a little bit earlier than that. But 7 p.m. Eastern time for the general time frame of Kentucky is the absolute latest that you should be on the roads tonight. A winter weather advisory does actually ignite at 7 p.m. And I do think those warnings and watches will change as we head throughout today. Overall, though, the main bulk of moisture does really start to get going around 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then it'll kind of set its way through Kentucky. But what I want you to notice is how it cuts off the moisture in between the actual northern edge and the southern edge, and it will dry slot here into the central of Kentucky area, which makes the forecast extremely difficult. And this model does indicate a little bit longer lasting snow showers up toward central Kentucky, and then it's out by about 5 to 6 a.m. Even earlier if you're back on the western side of Kentucky. Remember, on the last run that I just showed you, last night's model run, it lasted for quite some time. So again, this is old right here, but I want to show you just for the sake of transparency. It has it starting around 6 to 7 p.m. and then hours and hours and hours and hours of snowfall, and then it's out more toward 8 to 9 a.m. with a second wave possible by Monday afternoon, which this model run, the new one that just came in of the HRRR model, does not really show that second wave too much. It really only shows it down in southeastern Kentucky, so we might actually have to up the snowfall accumulation expectations for southeastern Kentucky than what we already have. But overall, the trend is not really necessarily a shift, okay? The trend is a little bit less moisture. If you're going to ask me, George, do you buy that trend? It's complicated. It's complicated because this model that we're looking at, and I could show you the other models as well if you guys want, just to have a little bit of transparency. And again, we do have that snowfall map ready for you, so just hang on with me for a few more minutes as I explain what's occurring here. Am I buying the moisture cutoff a little bit faster? That's been the trend overnight. That's not necessarily a shift of the winds or the upper layers, but the moisture cutoff is different. So am I buying that moisture cutoff that's showing up on today's data? Well, it's a complicated answer. We look at three models. At this point, we really only look at three models: the Rapid Refresh, the HRRR, and the NAM3K model. All of them did decrease moisture at some level, but only the HRRR model has decreased moisture to this level. Okay, the Rapid Refresh is still not buying that level of decrease. The NAM3K is holding on to all of its punch, which, again, that model can tend to overdo moisture. But overall, I still think there is some shifting that's going to occur, especially because we don't necessarily know how the 500 millibar, again, several thousand feet above our head, we don't really know how that's going to shape up for tonight. All the models for this pass system on Friday, except for the NAM model, got the 500 millibar level completely wrong. And that changed a lot of things. Chicago was forecasted to have 8 to 12 inches of snow. They ended up with, like, I think a few inches because the 500 millibar level was not as fast as model data projected, except for the NAM. The NAM model is the only one that caught it. So for me, on this system in particular, I tend to lend a little bit more toward the NAM model. So I'm going to show you that a little bit now. Now, again, that does not mean it's going to be 100% correct, but it earns a bit more trust because of how well it did just a few days ago. So what does the NAM model show? Well, the NAM model shows snow beginning around roughly the same time, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern time, maybe a little bit later if you're in northeastern Kentucky or eastern Kentucky, maybe closer to 6 to 9 p.m. out there. But overall, it has a little bit wider of a precip shield. It does reach all the way up to Louisville. It does reach up all the way to the I-64 corridor. And in fact, it extends a little bit further north. Now, I do think that the North American model right here, the NAM model, might be a smidge too far north. And the reason I think that is because, again, when I go up and look at the upper layers of the atmosphere, it's a bit more favorable of the HRRR model, the one that I just showed you. But we could find something where we're in between the two ideas of the models, and that's where I'm leaning toward. So the snowfall map that I created was basically a median of the North American model, the RAP model, and the HRRR model. When I was making the forecast, I also tried to depict the deformation band, which is a bit risky as a forecaster. Usually people just play it safe. You all know me. I don't play it safe. I take a risk. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. It is what it is. But I try to be as accurate as I possibly can. And so what I did was I tried to figure out the winds that would occur above our heads, because that is the most crucial mark. A lot of people believe it's the temperature or the moisture. It all is based off of how strong those winds are and exactly where the bulk, or what we call the Vort Max, will set up. So that's what we based our forecast map off of. But overall, the North American model has snowfall basically from 7 to 8 p.m. tonight all the way until, Monday afternoon, and then it just sits in eastern Kentucky. And now this has been the one very consistent idea from Somerset to Pikeville down toward Harlan, that little triangle down there. That is where we will see the most snowfall. There's no doubt in my mind. That is a 100% guarantee. The heaviest of the snowfall will be from Somerset to Pikeville to Harlan. So I actually need to go after this video and update our snowfall map already, because, again, I don't think I put enough snow down there. I went a little bit more conservative, and I should have upped it a little bit more. So if you're out there in Somerset, Pikeville, or Harlan, that area, expect to see. I really think you could realistically see 7 to 9 inches out of this. Now, that might be a smidge overboard. I'll have to go back and look at the data, and we'll put out our new snowfall map later on this afternoon. But that's a really good bet for out there. As for central Kentucky, I know a lot of people are in here from like the E-Town area, going to Litchfield, Madisonville, going on toward Hart County and LaRue, as well as Nelson. The way that you're going to get any real good snowfall out of this is not from this first wave. This first wave, guys, is going to be weak, okay? What you want, if you're a snow lover and you're in this area near the parkways or just north of it or just south of it, basically from E-Town to Madisonville, and then places in between, even for like Nelson County, Greene County, and LaRue County, the way that you're going to get your snowfall to go up a little bit is by way of a deformation band. Basically, it's a little pocket of heavier precipitation that sets up within a system, usually found on the northwestern side of said system. So what we have to do is go ahead and look above our heads and figure out where the winds are, and we go just south of that. I will tell you that the winds are, when I looked at it earlier, the North American model and the rapid refresh model had the maximum winds near the Ohio River, which would put the deformation band just to the south of it, which I think the North American model does depict very well. Now, again, this could shift a little bit as the winds shift a little bit, but I think this is a pretty solid idea for the North American model. I will tell you, I'll go ahead and show you the snowfall totals from this model. I don't feel like it's completely inaccurate. The heaviest of snowfall will absolutely occur from Somerset to Pikeville toward Harlan, where they could see over half a foot of snow. Now, do I think this model is a bit aggressive? I do. I don't think the snowfall is actually going to make it all the way up here. But I want to also point out to you for our friends in northeastern Kentucky, basically Mount Olivet toward Florence up there, I think you're going to get gapped out of this. You might get a dusting. You'll get lucky to get toward an inch. But I think the bulk of the energy stays toward central, western, and southeastern Kentucky. I do have our snowfall map ready for you as well. But before we get into that, I want to give you a quick message from our sponsor, Right Implement.
For everything you need to keep your home and property in great shape, stop by Right Implement this week. We have chainsaws, blowers, and line trimmers from Steel, long-lasting quality mowers, gators, small tractors, and generators from John Deere, Honda mowers and generators, and so much more for your home and property. Let us show you what it means to be treated right. Online at rightimp.com. With 15 locations throughout Kentucky and southern Indiana, we are the home place. Right Implement.
Awesome. Thank you so much to them. If you need any new snow equipment, visit any one of their 15 locations. Corey, thank you for your 100 stars. I appreciate you, my man. Hope you're doing okay out there. So this is our snowfall expectation map at this time. Now, again, I already told you that I do plan on changing this, okay? Because given the new runs that are coming in as we're talking, it does look like southeastern Kentucky will go well over that 2 to 3 inch zone. I will keep watching, but your ads suck. Rupa Love Adam says on YouTube. The more power to you, my friend. I don't understand why people will try to be like that. They act like I really care. The expected snow accumulation by Monday night, greatest area of uncertainty is around that Western Kentucky Parkway, Bluegrass Parkway, just to the points north of it. Again, some models do depict a deformation band occurring, but again, that might shift a little bit, which is why we made a pretty wide box there. Again, so if that shifts a little bit, we'll move that 2 to 3 inch zone down or up. I do want to point out real quick, I know the snowfall totals aren't what a lot of people are hoping for if you're a snow lover. But I will tell you that when we're dealing with temperatures between 5 to 10 degrees, like most folks will be after this event ends, hazardous conditions will exist no matter what level of snowfall that you get. Now, obviously, if you get more snowfall, then more travel issues that arise. But I think even areas that only see 1 inch out of this are going to be pretty locked down for Monday and Tuesday, because salt and brine won't work against this, guys. When we go with temperatures that are that cold, salt and brine really stops working. Rupa Adams on YouTube says you don't have to care, but I'm not going to subscribe. Guys, you have to remember, I forecast to over 400,000 people every month. Okay, I'm not even, actually, I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not even going to get into it. We're going to stay really calm and nice today, despite people's negativity. Can it please just go down to Tennessee and stay? Jessica, I mean, that is possible, but I feel pretty confident in this forecast. Now, again, from Somerset to Pikeville to Harlan, we might have to increase those snowfall amounts. As a matter of fact, I will increase those snowfall amounts. Do you think the totals are going to go up or down? Butler County right above Bowling Green? Ashley, there's really no way of telling at this point. We just have to kind of keep watching the models, watching how things trend, look at our current analysis, compare the current analysis to the models, and just watch how things trend throughout the day and the afternoon going into the evening. I don't think this will move too much. I really don't. I feel pretty confident in this forecast, but again, if you are in here from Somerset to Pikeville to Harlan, in that bottom right corner of the state, I do think you'll get more snow than what I currently show on this map, so I will have to adjust that. If it's going to be this cold, we absolutely should get some snow. That's what I'm saying. If we're stuck inside, at least I'm going to look out my window and see snow, right? Because what I'm telling you guys is, even in this scenario, in this setup, right? If we're only looking at 1 inch of snow, let's say I'm in Radcliffe, okay? Let's say Radcliffe only gets 1 inch of snow. You're still going to be stuck inside. I want to make that very clear. A lot of people have this misconception that only 1 inch of snow is not going to cause any issues. If you only get 1 inch of snow and it's 9 degrees outside with a wind chill of -10, do you really think you're going anywhere? No, because the salt and the brine is not going to work. And it's going to be so hard on the ground, the snow plows probably won't even work. So I just want to point out to you that if it is going to snow, at least give me some good snow. What about Paducah area? Again, about 1 to 2 inches. You could go, I think Paducah's on the higher side of that total. You're probably more near 2.5 inches for Paducah. Ashton, that's absolutely a possibility. I think you might be a smidge, and I really do mean a smidge, by maybe 50 miles, too far north for the main bulk of snow. I absolutely, right now, I absolutely think that's a bad idea. That is correct, Kevin. But when you're talking about temperatures that are down to 5 to 10 degrees, there's really hardly anything that works on that that's also safe for human consumption if anybody weirdly does eat it. So they won't put it down on the roads. Calcium and brine and salt works down to about 13 to 15 degrees. So when you're talking about temperatures that go below that, the effectiveness of those chemical compounds don't really work. Tiffany on YouTube asks, do we have another system later this week? Tiffany, we do have the possibility of another snow system later on this week. However, this one and where its snowpack goes will greatly affect that system later on this week, so I haven't even begun to look at that yet. Yeah, that's right, Tambra. So again, if you're in here and you're watching it and you're looking at the map, Somerset to Pikeville to Harlan, that bottom right corner of the state, I will be increasing your snowfall expectations to about 4 to 6, we'll go 4 to 7 inches for now. But you could even go further than that. We'll just have to see where that goes. And the reason for that is because this system will it's actually going to start over us. It's going to be a baby system over us. And then it's going to stall in eastern Kentucky. And when it stalls, it's going to pivot up to the north. And when it pivots, it's going to kick in a little bit more moisture from the Gulf. And that's why eastern Kentucky, especially from Somerset to Pikeville to Harlan, will see higher snowfall totals because it's going to pivot and stall over that area. That is why we really held out on making a forecast until this morning, which I know sucks because we really want to have a forecast out the day or at least 2 days before. But the reason we held off is because we wanted to wait and see where that pivot would occur. We also wanted to wait and see where the deformation band would occur. So that's why we kind of held out until this morning. Raina, thank you for your 99 stars. Daxton, that's because, and they're correct in that. So we also show that decrease in amounts as well, because if you look at it, you have a 2 to 3 inch zone right below Paducah and a 2 to 3 inch zone to the north of Paducah with a dip in between. And the reason for that is when this pivots, it's going to create a dry slot somewhere in western or central Kentucky. And what's going to happen is that moisture is going to kick over toward eastern Kentucky, which is why you see a little bit of a dip in totals between the two bands right there. Stars Party has been activated. Thank you so much for all of your stars. Jane with the 99. Lisa for the 20. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully we can achieve that Star Party. Thank you a ton. What about Jefferson County, Louisville? Nicole, you're going to be right on that border of seeing snow or not. I think about an inch, maybe a little bit more. Between a half inch to maybe an inch and a half is probably a good bet for Louisville. And again, guys, the main timing for snow is about 7 to 8 p.m. tonight is when it starts, going until about 4 to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So about 8 to 10 hours of continuous light snowfall that will be efficiently accumulating. All right, I think we've answered enough questions here. I really do. Now we're starting to get into the specific counties and stuff where you can just look at the map and see as well. If you don't know where you're at on the map, if you have a smartphone, you can just open it up and I'll have a ping right there for you, and then you can compare that to the map. I'm going to actually work on updating our snowfall map and get that out to our social medias here. So I need to hop off of here and take care of that. I want to thank you guys a ton for hanging out with me and listening to this update. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Right Implement and Box Drop Barstown. Get a free pillow at Box Drop Barstown when you make a purchase and mention W&K. Also, 30 to 80% off of retail prices there for your mattresses and your bed supplies. Melissa with the 50 stars, thank you so much for that. Again, I saw someone ask about school systems. I don't get into all that because they're so unpredictable. Sometimes they're very quick on the trigger. Sometimes they will put kids out there no matter what. I've gotten out of that guessing game. It's just a no-win situation. If you did miss any of this information or you're coming in late, this video will be available on our YouTube and Facebook for you to watch at your own leisure. We're also going to have a written update out here in about an hour, and so be on the lookout for that. With that said, I am George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with WNK. Until next time, stay safe and stay warm, Kentucky.